Hey everybody, welcome to the Jersey Comic Crew. We bring you the news and reviews of all your favorite comics, TV shows, movies, and as always, I'm Chris Heller, and with me is...
Rob Moran. He did almost the perfect job with that intro.
What do you mean almost perfect? I thought it was quite perfect.
Yeah, you flipped around movies and TVs.
Does it matter?
Comics, movies, and TV
I
shows.
thought it was comic, TVs, and movies.
No.
Well, maybe for me, that's what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are we doing today?
Right, today we're talking comic books, man. We're going back to our roots, talking source material.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Maybe I should not have to.
Well, we had a couple comics on there, so where do you want to start? Incoming, I think we had on there.
We have one thing on here.
Oh, you just wanted to talk Batman, is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, so we're talking Batman. We're talking Tom King's run of Batman.
Who's Tom King?
Tom King is the writer of Batman, as well as writer of Eisner Award-winning series such as Vision, and most recently, Scott-Free, a.k.a. Mr. Miracle.
There you go.
And he's doing
Did you say
Adventures.
Scott-Free because you forgot Mr. Miracle, then you figured out Mr. Miracle?
Literally, I was like, what's his name? Scott-Free. Okay, got that. And he is Mr. Miracle. Yep.
Okay.
But I did on the fly, so haha. And then...
You did it on the couch.
Anyway, so Tom King is also going to be writing Strange Adventures in the next coming months with Mitch Gerard, who he did the same Mr. Miracle team.
And what is Strange Adventures?
I think February?
No. What is it?
Oh, it's that's going to be the man from Iran himself, Mr. Adam Strange.
He's an astronaut.
Astronaut from the future in another planet.
That's all people need to know for right now.
Yeah, but it's going to be awesome because it's the same team and it's the same kind of obscure character that
he's a cookie astronaut.
Yeah, it seems like every year it's like the Oscars. Like every year, there's like some random movie that comes out.
So we're going to talk about the last arc of Tom King's run is called The City of Bane. Mm-hmm. Essentially, the premise, the plot of that is that Bane, with the help of Thomas Wayne from Flashpoint universe,
yes.
So Batman in that universe takes over the city of Gotham, essentially bringing it to its knees. Yeah. The villains are in control. Yeah. All this to torture and break Batman
for the final time.
And the motivating factor that the reason Thomas Wayne, his father, wants to do this to his son is so that way he learns to not become Batman, not to follow essentially in his footsteps, even though he doesn't know that that's why he's doing it. Yes. But he doesn't want his son to become him and go through all the hard times, which I could get.
See.
Now we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then some plots overall and the overarching story of Tom King's run. And it's pretty much like it's been this whole City of Bane arc and this whole arc of Thomas Wayne dealing with Batman. It's pretty much I'm assuming been his game plan since the beginning.
Yes.
Because in this arc, in this storyline, we see Thomas Wayne in previous flashbacks of different points throughout this run
on his Earth,
and we see him doing different things on our Earth as well, to influencing to create this final situation. Mm-hmm. Now, you guys might be thinking, "Whoa, Rob, we have Flashpoint Batman in here. That guy with guns, you just killed all these supervillains.
The shoulder horns
with the shoulder horns
and the red eyes.
He's in this
and the red circle
Yes.
And the red and the red.
I got more than just that.
Oh, okay.
And you got Bane, who took over the city of Gotham. And they've been plotting this forever, and also Bane has been plotting this forever. Yes. With Gotham Girl, which pretty much is like the most overpowered character in the world, but she's dying. Pretty much like think of Jane Foster's store, who uses her powers and dies, but on a bigger scale.
Is she dying anymore? I don't think she is. Did they cure her?
They cure her in this.
In this arc, right?
Yes, but before this.
Okay.
So they both have been playing this. You're like, oh my God, Rob, this must have been great. What is it, like 10 issues, 12 issues? I'm looking at you because I don't know.
6 issues? 7 issues?
Too many.
Really only started 78, 79, something like that?
Okay. 6, 7 issues? Mm-hmm. This must have been fantastic. You're talking about Tom King, the writer of Eisner Award-winning Mr. Miracle and Vision? Oh my God. It was terrible, guys. It was awful. Oh my God. The only thing that Tom King could do right in this arc was the stuff with Batman and Catwoman. Phenomenal masterpieces. Yes. That's why he's going to do Batwoman and Catwoman are going to do their own side story.
Batman and Catwoman?
Whatever the fuck.
A lot of women.
A lot of women. I love women. No, Batman.
The women's and the ones. I don't know what's going on.
Batman and Catwoman, they're going to do their own miniseries. I think it's going to be 12 issues.
Yes, 12-issue max series. Yes.
And that's going to be fantastic because that's what he does best.
Yes.
And the short issues, I'm sure we're all going to love it, and we're going to be like, oh, maybe this should win an Eisner. But this
was
snarky. Terrible. Like, it felt dragged out. Big spoiler alert. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Alfred dies. Bane kills him. They know. I'm very excited. They kill him, and like Batman has like one issue where he's like, "Oh, he's dead. I can't believe it. I'm crying," and then like that's it. They don't really like. It's not as big of a thing as I thought it would be, and I was like, "All right, maybe he's not really dead." Then spoiler for the issue after it, he's still dead. They acknowledge he's dead, and like now James Tynion is going to take care of that.
And they're going to do a one-shot, I think, burying Alfred and stuff like that in the coming week.
I'm sure that's going to be heartfelt.
I'm sure it's going to be heartfelt.
But like this whole event, I think is going to read better in trade. So I do want to say that. I mean, his other stories,
meaning this arc or the full scope of the story.
Because I feel like you could read this arc to get, if you needed to know what happened in Batman and what happened with Tom King's run, I think if you could read this whole arc in trade, that'll give you a good idea of what happened. Because it goes over stuff in the past. The only thing that you might need to read, aside from this arc and trade, would be the wedding trade. Because, they Catwoman and Batman almost got married. And then they were like, haha, nope, voodoo. And they don't get married. You read that arc, you read this arc, you read everything you need to know about Tom King's Batman. I just felt disappointed. I felt like this big buildup that he had just fell flat. I don't think, like, the whole final confrontation with his dad and him, it wasn't as dramatic as it was meant to be. Him fighting Bane was a cool scene, and he said no weapons.
Yeah, it's always cool.
I think it was fine. I think he built it up to bigger than what it was supposed to be.
Well, not only that, he did it before. He did it already. Like, him and Bane had their confrontation already. And to do it a second time and try to make it bigger,
it didn't really
but then fail at making it bigger. And I just, with this arc specifically, I didn't feel like we got the whole story.
No.
I felt like in the beginning, right? Like, you had this questionable scene where Catwoman kind of crawls back to Bane.
Yeah, what was that about?
And we were like, oh, so she is against Bruce and she's playing Bruce because of his feelings for her. And then you realize, no, Bruce and her are playing him. And she's pretending to be with him. And then we see that, but nothing comes of that. But
that also didn't convey clearly.
It didn't.
Like, I read it and I know, but it wasn't as smooth as I thought.
No, it wasn't smooth. And you had this kind of, it should have been almost like a drawn out series, right? Oh yeah, he snores a lot. It should have been more drawn out, like almost 12 issues or 15.
Yeah.
Because you could have done an entire arc on the villains of Gotham running the city by itself.
It kind of felt like, remember?
You could have done a Two-Face and all this stuff, not even like one-shots, but you could have had that within the story.
Remember Zero Year? How that was 12 issues and it was a full year?
And Snyder was like, trust me, it's worth it.
Like, this should have been that. This should have been 12 issues of essentially a 0 year in modern day, but Bane and an evil Batman are running it, so it's even scarier. Like, yeah.
I mean, I think Tom didn't want to do exactly what Snyder did.
But he kind of did.
But no, he didn't. I think Snyder ended his so much better with that final confrontation with Joker and the questions he left at the end of that run. I agree,
but this kind of felt like a different alternate version of that.
Maybe. I just felt this last arc was not rushed because I don't think there was any rush for this. This didn't feel pressured. This didn't feel like... It also didn't feel like, all right, we're ending this run and Tom King setting something up for the next run. It didn't feel like that. It just felt flat.
That's what it is. It just felt flat.
And
I think it was a good idea, a good premise.
Yeah.
It didn't hit the punchline. And I think
we had, because we saw it already. I think because we had a Bane confrontation in his run recently that, at least with Snyder's run, he had an early Joker with Death of the Family. And then we didn't see Joker at all until that very end arc story. So I think that was what made it so much bigger. And also Snyder's was just better. But I think this fell flat and you had Thomas Wayne come back. Besides him just being like, don't be Batman. Really nothing else.
That's it? That's his whole motivation?
He really didn't do anything else.
I killed Alfred for you. I made you,
Bane killed Alfred.
Yeah, but he's taking credit. Yeah. I killed Alfred for you. I destroyed the city for you. I ended this. Why won't you do anything? I guess you're still my boy. I guess you're still going to be Batman.
Yeah, and right. I don't understand that.
Huh?
And I think
it felt rushed at that point.
It did a little bit, but I don't know why, because they're not in a rush. And like, it's not like, hey, this ended and Batman Catwoman's coming out in a week or two. It's not coming out till like late February. And that's to give Clayman more time to because he's doing the whole series, which is going to be great. But if you look at just like still this arc, there's a lot of like just very big loose ends that I'm like, this doesn't feel like Tom King. Yeah. It almost didn't feel like Tom King was writing it, whether you like Tom King's run or not. And there's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who hate this Batman run. There's a lot of people who have been crapping on it since day one. And there's a lot of people who love it.
I think
I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I'm in
I think for this run specifically, when you're talking about a Bane storyline where you know, in the beginning, the kind of tease to this was great. You had Batman kind of flipping out, going into Arkham, beating the shit out of Bane to the point where he's like in a coma.
Yes.
And he's like, he's faking it. He's like, no, he's not. He's comatose. And then you see the last second Bane really is faking it. Like, that was awesome. That's what I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see Bruce always being right, even if no one else believes him. I want to see this Batman. I want to see him having to prove himself time and time again when he's always right and he always saves the city and he saves everybody and people are still skeptical over stupid shit. And then this is going to hurt everybody else. Bane didn't really go after anybody.
No, this whole
they
arc...
just kind of set up a perimeter like a jail state, kind of.
This whole arc, I mean, I guess even his Tom King's run, there's been like a lot of highs and a lot of lows. And I think the things that needed to hit home, like you said, they just fell flat. And I just think that I don't want to say it's because of Tom and he doesn't know how to do it. I think Tom's focus...
He's a good writer.
He's a good writer.
He's won Eisners. Like,
his focus is more character-driven. And I feel like what he was writing kind of was like that big, bombastic kind of view.
Yeah.
Which he kind of get, but he still wanted to have that character-driven story. I think he just got a little muddied.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of, like you said, there was a lot of great moments here.
And we don't know what's going on in his personal life, too, that affects it. Because
I'm sure
personal life in writers is key, right? Like Snyder says everything he writes is based on what he's actually going through in life.
Let me ask you a question now. Now, I'm looking at all of Tom King's run. Mm-hmm. If you want to recommend a story arc,
yes.
Like, hey, Matt, hey, Joe, hey, I want to recommend you go to the Barnes & Noble, go to your local comic store, pick up this trade of this story arc from Tom King's run. Is there any that you could recommend?
Yes.
Which one?
I think 100%. Like, I would always recommend the first arc, regardless of how you feel about it.
The Gotham Girl arc?
The Gotham and Gotham Girl arc, because that gives you the tone. Not saying that's the best arc. I would recommend anything he did with Catwoman. Mm-hmm. I would recommend anything he did with Clark Kent and Lois Lane in this series. I would start with, like, what was it, issue 6 or 7, that one shot where they go to the fair.
Like, I'm with you. Like these one shots,
I would say,
I'm like, overall story arc. Like here, this arc, like the monster story arc, or the wedding story arc, or this one.
I would say the wedding definitely.
I think the wedding's the only one. And that's just to see him get messed up. I
would say the Kite Man arc, 100%.
Is that a trade?
Yeah, that was in the Gotham War between Riddler and Two-Face.
Yeah, no, Joker.
Yes. Yeah, the Riddler-Joker War.
Yes, the Riddler-Joker War.
That Kite Man story happened in that arc.
I would get that arc. That would be the arc. That'd be the arc from this run that I'd recommend.
The Kite Man story that's great. In that is gold. It might be one of the best, like, retelling of an origin I've ever seen.
Yeah, so like he's done fantastic work in this, guys.
And obviously anything like the love stuff is phenomenal. It's
perfect.
It's heart-wrenching. It's
perfect.
It's emotional. The visual, like, whether it's Michael Yanin doing it or Clayman, I think Clayman draws Selina and Lois Lane like nobody else.
Yes.
Like nobody else. I think even in this final arc, the couple issues where we get Bruce and Selina on that island kind of repairing Bruce's mind and getting him ready for this final fight, that's the part of this arc where I held on to, where it was they're kind of bantering and like, are they, aren't they? Are, you know, the emotional side, the inside the head of the character stuff.
Overall, like, I think you get the War of Jokes and Riddles. That's what it was called.
War of Jokes and Riddles, yes.
You get that arc. You get the wedding arc. And then you get the City of Bane. You get a great run of...
What was the first Bane one called?
I don't remember.
But I like that one too, because that was the one where he gets the entire Bat family together.
I like parts of it. I don't think I like the full overall story. It just escapes me.
Where he breaks Bane's back instead, and then it's just a rehashing of Nightfall, but opposite.
Yeah.
I like the beginning of that a lot, because that was when they went to the burger place that's Batman related.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cute scenes in it.
Yeah, but no, definitely War, Jokes, and Riddles to me was my favorite arc of his run. The Wedding would be a second under that.
Yeah, I think if you get those three, you're going to get a good run of Batman. You're going to get a good understanding of who he is now in current comics and where he's going to do in the future. And like I said, like Thomas King's run, there's a lot of ups and downs. But those three arcs, I think, and even with this one being lukewarm, like in the beginning of this, I was mean to it, right? But I still think you should get it because it's a decent story, and it
also
just shows
get an opinion for yourself. Like, don't just take our word for it either.
And it'll show like the whole overarching plan. And I think it's going to read a lot better in trade than waiting, 2 weeks at a time and stuff.
I mean, 2 weeks isn't that long. It's not like Doomsday Clock, which is every other month.
No, but I think waiting, it hurt the story. Because the first couple of issues, I waited each week to get them, or each couple of weeks. But the last 3 or 4, I read them back to back, and it was it felt better.
Well, yeah, reading everything together always feels better if you're not, if you're in and out of the comic flow. If you're reading comics, like I constantly read comics in the flow. So to me, it's not a big deal when it's like, okay, this issue's done. I gotta wait another 2 weeks for it because I'm so used to it.
Well, think of, for me, it's even with certain animes, right? So if it's really good, I'm like, oh my god, that issue was so good, I can't wait for the next issue, right? Or the episode. Same thing. Same thing applies to comics. Wow, this issue was good. I can't wait to see what they do in the next issue. With this arc, it felt like it was an okay issue. And you wait a little while. I'm like, okay, and then it drops down a little bit because you have to wait. But if you read okay to okay to okay, you're like, all right, I feel the flow here. I could vibe with it instead of oh my god.
Well, some books are also just okay most of the time.
But this book, especially with the groundwork, did not feel like a book that should be okay.
No, agreed.
It should have been. Wow. Wow.
It's Batman. It always should be up there with the top books. And there was during that Kite Man to Wedding arc, it was.
That was wow.
And it was top of the sales charts. And it was, everyone was talking about it. And there was reviews. And there was, Tom King was on the top of the world. And
I'm on top of the world.
And he's, it's still hard to get his signings now. But I think there's a lot of things going on right now. One with him, I think he's doing a lot more books now because he's finishing up that, right? He's doing Strange Adventures now. He's doing Batman Catwoman. He's also doing a movie with Ava DuVernay. He's doing Kirby's Fourth World stuff. Yeah. So his attention is split through a lot of different parties. He's got
and those 3 things, guys, I'm going to tell you.
And he's got 2 or 3 kids.
Get ready.
And regardless of how this ended, it's bittersweet because I'm so excited for Batman Catwoman.
I think it's going to be great.
Because, number one, Clayman's doing the art, and we all know, like I said, Clayman does fantastic. Catwoman like nobody else. They're bringing the Phantasm into continuity.
Yep.
From the animated movie, not even the show, the movie, which was a love story. And Catwoman to him is a love story. And Tom King writes character-driven emotion, love, pain, stuff like that.
You think Batman cheats on Catwoman?
No, I think...
You think Catwoman cheats on Batman with her? You think they get invited? Maybe they're a throuple?
A throuple?
You never heard of that term?
Shit is a throuple.
It's a 3-person couple.
Pokemon?
It's a 3-person couple.
Wow.
You've never heard of the word throuple?
No. Haven't heard throuple. No. Okay. I guess I don't go on the same weirdo sex forums you do at night.
I don't know where I heard that first off. That's an interesting question.
Cool chat roulette there.
No, it wasn't online. I think somebody brought it up. And
someone just said throuple. I mean, it's not a bad term. I think the term is very clever, but I'm saying I've never heard throuple.
Yeah. Who told me that? Do you guys know? Let me know down below. They might.
But anyway, Batman Catwoman, I think, will be playing to Tom's strengths.
Yes,
right?
I agree. 100%. That's fair.
And I think also it helps you have one of the best artists in the industry doing the artwork.
Yeah.
Raising the stakes. But yeah, I would definitely say this final arc of his run, and now James Tynion has picked it up.
Is it Tynion or Tynion?
Is it Tynion or Tynion? I don't know. Is it Tynion or Tynion? Do you guys put on the poll? Is it Is it Tynion or Tynion?
Mike's not going to put up a poll.
Put on the poll. And
he's going to be like,
see if it's Tynion or Tynion. But he's picking it up. The first issue already came out. good issue. Clearly setting up some huge storyline with Joker about knowing Bruce Wayne's identity and actually placating to it because he's tired of being ignored.
And they mentioned that, Superman already revealed his identity. We might as well reveal Batman.
Yes. So there is this huge repercussion that like James is going to be building up towards. I'm guessing, Batman 100. It's already at 86.
We'll see.
So I can only guess for that. But at the same time, I honestly thought Tom King would have went out on more of a bang. I don't know if it's something he's saving for Batman Catwoman. So it's like, hey, you have to pick this up. This is the end of the story. It's not Batman 85 to get people to pick this up, and you have to end it with a bang. Because, like I said, it didn't seem like a setup to me. Like, there's a lot of books, a lot of writers, Bendis, set things up for other books. They finish an event or they finish a book and it's a crossover with their own stuff that they're writing, or it's a crossover with, I'm going to cross it over with everything I write to make it myself more money.
I don't think anybody does that.
Bendis. But... like that's
Brian Michael Bendis.
But that's kind of how
you're still a good artist. You're still a good writer.
But that's kind of how comics are, right? Like you kind of set things up for the next arc or the next person. I think the best comic that does that well is Daredevil.
It's such a good book,
right? But besides being a phenomenal book, it set like every writer sets up something crazy for the next writer to deal with.
Yes.
In a way that isn't selfish, in a way that isn't. This is about my arc and my story. And how I finish things. No, I'm going to fuck this thing up. So you have to fix it however way you want.
I mean, that's kind of what they did with this, right? Alfred being dead and now somebody has to deal with it.
Alfred's dead, but Alfred's death was so underplayed that I'm like, I want... same thing with Stephen Amell, right? I want to feel for this character. It's Alfred, but why don't I feel this?
That's going to be a big subplot, I think, in James Tynion's run.
Then we're going to have to pick up the one shot, obviously.
All right, guys. That is our review of the entire run of Tom King's Batman. We recommended you some great stories from there. Let me know down in the comments below. If you're a fan of Tom King through and through his whole adventure of Batman, if you hated every moment of it, if you have some favorites, let me know.
Let me know if it's Tynion or Tynan.
Please let me know.
Please. Because I see him a lot at cons, and I always am like, Tynion or Tynan?
How are they going to let us know? They're going to type a comment?
Yeah. Phonetic spelling. Figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out for us.
You guys are smart.
All right, guys. That wraps up this episode of the Jersey Comic Crew. Thank you so much. As always, I'm Rob Moran.
And I'm Chris Heller.
And we'll see you next time.
JerseyComicCrew.podbean.com